My name is Garrett Clark. I'm 26 years old, and I am currently enrolled in a new media journalism master's degree program here at Full Sail University. I can't even go on and on about how much I love photography. Like it's insane. Like it's sometimes a concept that's hard for me to explain myself. I remember when I was very young, grabbing my dad's old Nikon camera and just photographing. It started off with just doing little Tumblr kind of style images that you see on the internet back in the early 2000s in regards to, just making it kind of like, cool and like doing a little huge Photoshop with an app called, Monkey Pig, Canva, and all different kind of editing sources in regards to digital photography. It just goes on and on. Nature was one of the biggest things that I enjoyed the most, going out and exploring the world, seeing different sites, and just being in the moment in regards to just intaking, not even just being there, but also just being behind the camera and the amazing work that comes along aside it. It's just very, very immersive. It's crazy. Photography was just, again, just a huge breaking point in regards to my career as far as with being a media communicator, and that's just my huge passion overall. One of the things I really wanted to be very, very productive with, and I want to learn how to do better, is photographing a portraiture in people. I'll admit, doing studio work was not easy for me growing up. I had trouble with lighting and all sorts of stuff from, community college work with my professors, and just not being able to make the subject like really like impactful within an image. It was just one of the things that was very frustrating with me. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of stuck with, just doing photography for nature, places, pets, candid photos per se, in regards to just capturing, just being in the moment, just capturing a slice of life and just be able to move forward from there. One of the things that I guess also too growing up that I kind of enjoyed doing the most and love was black and white photography. I can't tell you how much I love black and white photography. Digital photography is really great and it's cool, but with black and white, it's something magical. It's just like with film, you capture something, you don't necessarily see what it is yet. You kind of hope and keep your fingers crossed, like, oh, did I do great? Or hopefully did I get something right? It had a lot of moments where it was just very, it had a lot of anxiety for me, because I wasn't really sure how to, work the camera perfectly. And it was just one of those things where it's just like, oh, cool, I captured something, but the question is, did I really do it right? But being in a dark room overall was just one of the huge environments that I just love the most, just watching an image come to life and just putting it in the different chemical baths and bringing it up to a masterpiece is what I love the most. With digital, I love it, it's great, and that's what the world we live in, but so many photos out there just being altered, and it can be, just basically manipulated in so many ways that it's very impactful, and it's great within the time that we live in regards to, it being digital, and it's just quickly sourceable and it can be easily maneuvered in the industry. But something about black and white is just very timeless, just not only just a monochromatic aesthetic, but also too, it's just an art form that not a lot of people appreciate or do nowadays. It's very rare to come across that. That's one of the things in photography I really enjoyed the most as a kid. It's just being in a dark room and taking images and all sorts of things. I'm a very visual person. I always have been a visual person, and that's one of the roots I want to stick with and have continued to stick with throughout my time here in my media journey. One of my reflecting points as far as with I took from the Mastery book in regards to written by Robert Greene, most importantly, just the primal instinct strategy, which to me, I kind of felt as though that was one of the hugest things I resonated with, only because, again, it started off by taking my dad's camera and photographing and just running wild with it. It was just one of those things where it's like I got tuned out with, so many things that other people were doing and finding, their craft and, their way of life. But with me, it was just something that was just like almost a language I was completely familiar with, even though I was still learning myself. One of the other things that I also found very resourceful in regards to reading these chapters, basically just getting into the whole strategy and trying to find out what path works for me. And I'll admit there have been times growing up where I thought photography wasn't it, mainly as an income source or just as a profession. There's not a lot of specific photography degrees out there, and that was one of the things I kind of struggled with, because maybe I just thought, well, photography is great and people are photographing and traveling, making money and doing what they love, but there's so many other works within the world that's quickly and rapidly evolving, that how do people actually gain sense of that insight and be able to tap into that? So there have been times where I just completely just went out and did other things that not only just made money for the time since, but it was one of those things too that it was completely foreign. As much as I wanted to get into it and learn it, and there's always times where you can actually, learn new skills and be able to develop and master it, but it was, again, it's just finding that one thing that means truly the most to you. It's just, you always go back to it, and video was one of the things, music and social media. There's been so many other things that I've tried to dabble in and try to be a jack of all trades in, and it's great to have. It's extremely resourceful, but again, with coming into a sense of that niche and what you truly love doing was just the greatest work of all. And I felt like that I sometimes would underappreciate it and undervalue it myself, but little did I know it meant a lot to many people, and it was just one of the things that I was just very conflicted and blindsided on, most of which because I wanted to make a profession out of it. In regards to the paths in which that I also found really interesting and very resonating with one of the strategies that I read also is basically just the life or death aspect. And it can always go back again to, doing what you love and actually adding on to creative skill sets. But at the end of the day, what you really love doing and what really matters most is what's going to be very impactful from there. And I can always learn skills, or anyone can always learn skills in regards to, just creating, developing, and crafting. But again, as communication and everything speaks and communicates, it's just always very impactful and very informative and very humbling as a homage to go back into that skill set in regards to just being able to do what you love, add on everything that you learn along the way, and just putting it into perspective of what you can do to make it very, very meaningful. One of the SMART goals I really wanted to share in regards to my time here, just throughout my media journey, is I want to be able to become more efficient in video editing and using different softwares. Again, I struggled with trying to do what everyone does and not being able to find, my own path and be able to focus on what I truly love doing. I want to be able to not only learn and to apply those new skills, but also to stay true with it. And one of the biggest things that I guess really stopped me was just basically disappointment and not being able to make it resourceful financially, a passion, or just anything really in general that just made it seem like very true. So one of the things I really want to do in regards to my time just in general and to go back into and to tap to is to be able to dabble into those different creative visual aspects in regards to media and just really focus on it and just really apply it to my own current craft and to be able to make it successful from there. Trying not to be discouraged and not necessarily letting any downfalls or any insufficiency stop me from there. So that was one of the biggest things that I feel as though that I need to learn to be better, and I can actually definitely challenge myself to be more true and to be more consistent in that area. The second SMART goal that I have for myself is just being very just exploring back into black and white photography. Again, that was my initial passion of why I started photography, and to be able to bring a craft back that not a lot of people do, but it was one of the things that I hit the ground running with. And I'm not gonna lie, it took years for me to realize that. And I felt like throughout the years, not only did I just kept distancing and not learning in those critiqued areas, but just also too just I feel as though that it was really my calling. It's something I really longly missed. You know, everyone's photographing, everyone's doing a lot of visual works out there, and it's amazing and great. But one of the niches that I really want to bring back within my passion is just being able to do something that's very unique and very relevant, but also to just staying true to what means the most to me. And that black and white monochromatic style, stills, basically bringing any image to life magically before your eyes, which is one of the things that I feel like that's going to make me a great visual artist and a great photographer and just a better media communicator in person overall through my time here, my journey. Able to cultivate and explore and staying consistent and don't allow a lot of obstacles in regards to life and what other people are doing and what's the new and whatnot to try to discourage me, even though I'm not good at it. It's part of learning, it's part of the process, but I'm really excited and looking forward to basically staying true and taking my time in regards to perfecting and mastering my current skill sets. And that's what's going to be very humbling and rewarding the most overall.